too expensive. We're staying at room 13. Usually airy and usually very, and that's just how my life goes. And I don't ever try to dress to impress. Fuck you, preppy assholes. On the 14th floor and a bathroom door don't lie. So happy we don't gotta worry about the cops. We could all get arrested for this, but when the party is mixed, I don't give a shit tonight. Alright. She walks in the bedroom fast, despite all the noise from the crowd. Now she's pantless on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on the seat and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 134 of Phired Up. Check us out at fireduports.com. Check out all the good content we have going on over there. I'm Mike Gillette. Joining me as always, Dom Console. Dom, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on?
Not much. I'm sitting here watching the Flyers game on this Monday night. Flyers usually don't play Monday night, so it's throwing me off that I'm like watching the Flyers while the show's going on.
Yeah.
But it's 1-1 to the Penguins right now. It's always nice to beat the Penguins. I'm hoping for a win.
Yeah, I keep seeing on Twitter all night that Tyson Forrester, is that his name?
Yep.
has a great shot.
He does have a good shot.
So I was actually gonna pick your brain about that. I don't know enough about him to say that's a fact or fiction.
It's a fact. It's a fact. It's
like up there with Jeff Carter.
Yeah, that's a good comp probably. You can't say like Ovechkin, right? Because right. Ovechkin's the greatest goal scorer of all time. So I'm not gonna put him up there yet. But no, Jeff Carter's probably a really good. Yeah, because Jeff Carter was never I don't think of Jeff Carter's shot as like an elite level shot. You would never put him up there. Like you wouldn't compare Jeff Carter to like Austin Matthews or something like that. Like
right.
But it's kind of the next tier down.
He's probably the best sniper that we've seen, right? In a Flyers uniform in our lifetime.
I need to see more first.
No, Jeff Carter. I mean.
Oh, Jeff Carter. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. The thing is,
what's that saying?
Exactly. I'm trying to think of
right.
other snipers, and now they really have in our lifetime.
Right.
I mean, as great as Lindros was, and he scored a ton of goals. I don't like his goals came like dirty. Like I don't think of him as like a sniper. Jeff Carter might be.
I had a couple 40-goal seasons. Not bad.
Yeah. But when you think sniper, like when you think like the best, of your lifetime, you're thinking of like the elite level,
right?
Players, and it was really 40. It was really just a few years here. Like it wasn't crazy long. Like what 5, 6, 7 seasons.
I would say he was on the Phantoms team, right?
Yeah, in 04. Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
So I guess he was a rookie the year after. Yeah, he was a rookie about 05, 06, something like that. It'd be really helpful if we had something right in front of us that could help us. I'm gonna guess he was a rookie in 05 and was out of here by 11.
Yeah, because they made the trade in I think June of 11, I believe.
The Mike Richards, Jeff Carter. Well, not in the same trade, but
right. But they kind of
wind up playing with each other.
So the rookie season was 05, 06. I believe you sniped that. Sniped, no pun intended. 23 goals is a rookie season. Then 14, 29, 46, 33, 36. So here he only had one.
Only one 40-goal season. Okay.
Yeah.
Did he have any more?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. Then no, he hasn't touched the highest he's gotten since then was 32 back in 16-17.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm trying to now. I gotta. There's got to be somebody I'm missing that you could think of like better.
Like Giroux wasn't.
No,
like
Drew's not really. No, like he played here long enough.
He's a playmaker. Yeah.
Right. He played here long enough where I'm sure the goal stats. Like he's gonna be up there.
Right.
But Actually, let me look up like the Flyers' top, goal scorers in franchise history. See if there's anybody that like we grew up kind of watching.
Briere wasn't 20. Really like a top scorer. Like he was a nice player.
No. All right, so we have Bill Barber, Brian Propp, Tim Kerr. None of these guys we saw. Bobby Clark, no. John LeClair, but like he kind of saw the tail end of it.
Yeah.
He's number 5 on the Flyers goal list. Rick McLeish, Reggie Leach, and then Claude Giroux's number 8 in franchise goals. But again, like he just played here so long that like the goals are going to pile up. He was never really a sniper. I mean, the only time he had a good one-timer on the power play. I mean, that's the best shot that he had was on the power play.
Do goals count on the game-winning shootout?
No, on shootout, no. Okay, doesn't count.
I was gonna say because he got a couple of shootout wins, but
Eric Lindros 9, Simone Gagne 10.
Gagne, okay.
Yeah, but again,
I don't know if he's
like
a sniper. Right.
Mark
I wonder what his stats are here.
Who's that?
Recchi.
Not
Recchi. Gagne. Sorry.
Before I get to Gagne, like on this list, Sean Couturier is 18th in franchise history in goals. Like you would never think of Sean Couturier as.
They've only been around since like '67 too, so like they're not like Toronto and like Montreal and New York where they've been around since like the 20s or 30s or whatever.
True. Yeah. True. I mean that's a good point. All right, so let me see here.
Okay, Gagne's has had 2 40-goal seasons. He almost had a 50 piece in 05-06.
05-06. Yeah, 47 goals.
You have 47 goals and he had under 80 points. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I think he's a very underrated
player.
That
05-06 season, was that the season they finished like dead last? Or was
that was the year after. I think 06-07. Because I think 06-07 was the JBR Patrick Kane debacle.
Okay.
He had 2 straight 40-goal seasons. That's crazy.
Yeah. But like you said, 47 goals and only 79 points is kind of wild. But yeah, I mean, he played here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
11
7,
years.
8, 9, 10 seasons.
11.
At the end of his career.
Right.
But, his main stint was 10. But yeah, I mean, people love Gagne here.
That's a decent rookie year, too.
20 goals, 48 points. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you take that any day as a rookie.
I am a Gagne stan.
You're one of the fanboys. I like Gagne, but like I think he's a little. I think people go a little overboard.
I would say he's probably top 5 of my favorite Flyers ever. Closer to 5 than to 1.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean that's probably. I don't know if he would be in my top 5. I don't think he would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we got on this. This discussion.
I would say. I mean, we could keep keep going with it. I think I would
all
say
we have scheduled tonight is Eagles, so we'll get to that at some point.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I would say my top 5 off the top of my head, and these are only the guys that I've watched playing. Like I can't put like Bobby Clark in there or like because I didn't watch Bobby Clark.
Sure.
So
you watch all the documentaries and all the highlights you want, but
right. I mean, these are the top 5 guys that like my favorite players. I would say it's probably in no order: Gagne, Giroux, Timonen.
I always forget about Timonen for some reason. Like I don't.
He's really underrated too.
Really? Yeah, totally. Yeah. I agree.
I guess Richards is in there.
You put Simmons in there?
No? Simmons is in that same boat with me for like Utley and Ertz. I appreciate what he did.
But
I'm
not
just
as
not
much as
like
the fan base.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
So
you named 4, right? Who was it? Who were the 4 again?
Timonen, Giroux, Gagne, probably Mike Richards.
Okay.
Just because of like he had that like Bobby Clark thing in him. He probably wasn't as good, but man, I'm trying to think of like a guy like a Gagne where like they or like a Giroux where like they were here for a long time and man,
like Hartnell or Voracek.
I did like really, who I really liked as a kid, but I saw the end of him, Eric Desjardins.
Okay.
I did like him a lot growing up. But honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know who that fifth guy would be.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who my 5 would be.
Because I don't remember Lindros that much.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I remember at least the tail end of Lindros.
Right.
And like how dominant. I remember one of the first like video games I ever had was NHL 99 with Lindros on the cover. Like at his height, like I mean, Lindros was insane.
Sure.
So Lindros is definitely in the top 5 for me. Giroux's in the top 5. After that, like I don't. I mean, Mike Richards is up there. It's Pronger's probably in the top 5.
Yeah, but that's the thing with it's like Primo and Pronger.
Primo's definitely up there, by the way.
But for me, like they weren't here. Too. Like I'm trying to find a guy that was like here for a while.
Well, Primo was what 5-6 years.
Was he? Was it that long?
Or was it not that long? I mean,
no, he might have been like 90, like 98, 99 to like 2006. So yeah, Primo would probably be up there for me too. Then
1, 2. So he 99 is when he got traded here. He played 23 games for the Flyers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 seasons.
Okay,
but the 6th season is when he got the concussion. Only played 9 games.
Okay,
and then hasn't played since. Yeah, no, I mean I love Primo. I mean that's even to this day I still wear the number 25 because of Primo.
Did you ever see? Did you ever hear the interview he had? I don't remember where it was. He was he on Spit and Chicklets or
Primo?
I forget where.
Not that I remember.
Okay, I forget where I read the interview or heard the interview. It might have been. It might have been somewhere else. Like within the last 3 to 5 years, probably.
Okay.
He talks about the 5 overtime game against Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and he said what people don't remember is within the first like 20 or 30 seconds of the first overtime, I forget who he said it was. Somebody took a shot from the point and like it like just it like dinged right off the post and almost went in. And he said like, and we wound up going to 5 overtimes. And like, if that would have just went in, it would have been over. And it would have been, you would have never heard about this. You know,
right.
This game would have never been remembered to be what it is.
Yeah.
So he said, I just think that's like kind of funny.
That's funny. No, I love Primo. I loved the guy like Jeremy Roenick, although he really wasn't here all that long either. Yeah, Chris Pronger, that was really only about 2 seasons, if that, because of the injury.
It's so funny because I remember the Eagles losing to Tampa in 2002, but I don't remember the Flyers losing to Tampa in 2004.
I remember exactly what it was. That was the first time in my life that I cried over a sporting event victory. Yeah. I remember I was down at my Uncle's shore house and I was watching it on in his living room, and I remember going to the bedroom and just sobbing.
Yeah. I would say my first heartbreak was 2002 for the Eagles, but I don't remember I don't remember much after that or before it. I just remember getting so excited for the game and then lose because they were supposed to win.
Yeah,
and then losing and dude, I even paint up my face green.
Yeah,
last game at the Vet. Yeah,
that was what I was saying. Last game at the Vet. Yeah.
But it's so funny because I don't remember the year after 2003 for the Eagles. I don't remember 2004 for the Flyers. I would say like my first.
You don't remember like the Super Bowl.
I remember the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But like it's so funny because I obviously know too. I was 6, 7, something like that.
7, yeah.
So I like just watching the Eagles lose. I didn't understand it. It's just that I want the Eagles to win.
Right.
And then around right, and then even like the Super Bowl, it was like I understood a little bit more because it was like 2-3 years later, and I don't know. I just don't remember 2004 that much. I don't remember 2001, the Sixers finals. I don't. But I will say my earliest Flyers memory is really when the Phantoms won and those guys came up, and then when I went to an Orange Crush event, like at the stadium, like my school went, and I don't know, maybe I was in like 3rd grade or something, or 4th grade, something like that, and it was Bob Kelly and Dave Schultz were there, like they were like signing autographs.
Dave Schultz is always there. Like, I don't know if he still is, but I know he was there for a long time.
Yeah,
always,
Bob Kelly too.
Yeah, always up in the press box, just talking to people, shaking hands. Yeah.
So I would say my first like early like real like actual memory, because I remember watching Flyers games, but I would say like my first like real like big memory was that specific playoff run against Buffalo when RJ Umberger got crushed at like
yeah.
It wasn't like center ice, but like pretty close to it, and he wasn't on this planet. Like that's probably the first time I remember a full like playoff series for the Flyers. So
that
strange.
Was vicious.
Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember Kapanen. It might have been the same year.
It was around the same time.
Yeah, in
when
Toronto.
When he got hit into the boards and he just couldn't get up. Every time he tried, he would just fall and like
was that Domi?
Hit the boards again. Was it Domi?
I don't know. I mean, I
don't know. You know, let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, it was around that same time. I remember watching that.
Darcy Tucker, he was a tough son of a bitch. This was the Eastern Conference semifinals in 2004. So yeah, same year.
Okay.
Well, let me try to skip.
I remember where I was for that too.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know who was in the hospital, but I was visiting somebody in the hospital, and honestly, it might have been my dad. And he got no, it couldn't have been, because if it was the playoffs, I don't know who I was visiting, but somebody was in the hospital. I remember visiting somebody in the hospital and watching this.
Yeah. All right. Let me pull it up here.
Hansons gets set. The shot is deflected high to the glass. Up comes Kapanen. Oh boy! Was he hit by Tucker? Kapanen is still on the ice. The Leafs get the puck up there. It's sent up over the line.
Well, a big goal, and they're over there talking to Kapanen, who took that hit from Tucker and looked like a heavyweight boxer who'd been knocked out on his feet trying to get to the bench. He's telling Ken Hitchcock he's okay and able to walk now. I don't know, because here's the hit by Tucker. And Kapanen took about 15 seconds to get from just inside the blue line.
Looks like me every Monday morning.
Leafs had possession of the puck, so they didn't blow the whistle.
That's probably more accurate. It's because I think this was around the first time that I watched like a full season, like started watching a full season of the Flyers. I don't know if this was, what year was that?
2004.
I remember that hit. I don't remember that series.
I don't really remember that series. I mean, the series that I really remember was the conference finals against Tampa.
Okay, and then, but I think the real like I remember the Flyers watching like a full season every year was probably the year or two after, when it was Forsberg and Gagne on the same line.
Yeah, Forsberg.
That's what really kind of got me into hockey, like, you know. And then I buy the video game, and then that's when you start to learn the players and how the game works and all.
Now, Forsberg was really fun, but I mean, the problem is they just got him past him winning 2-3 cups or whatever it was.
He had a decent run here though.
He did.
He couldn't stay on the ice.
No, the problem was his foot was hurt like every other. Like he couldn't walk. Basically.
It's so funny too, because if you ask me about like Simone Gagne, I feel like every other fucking game he was out with the flu. Like I feel like he always had the flu. Like every time that
gets sick a lot.
I don't understand. French Canadian, like
But it's funny. It's funny we're talking about like feeling heartbreak. Like when the Flyers lost in 2010, like I didn't really feel the heartbreak.
I did, but only because I didn't.
Blackhawks.
The only reason I did was because at that time in my life, I didn't understand what I do now. That like they weren't supposed to be there.
Exactly. That's why I really didn't feel the heartbreak. Like, it was, the ride was fun, right? And it was obviously, the 3-0 Boston comeback. Like they really weren't supposed to be there. They had 3 goalie tandem that like,
and then
none
they
of
played
those
the
goalies. yeah. They played the 2 seed. Montreal was the 2 seed.
No. I'm saying Montreal was 8 seed. The Flyers were 7 and Montreal was an 8.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. So the Flyers were 7.
Boston was a 2.
That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the year they also got in on the last day of the season from the shootout.
Yes, the Rangers. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like they really weren't supposed to. They really weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
They're playing a team that's about to be a dynasty basically, and they had goalies that shouldn't have. That weren't NHL. I don't want to say they weren't NHL caliber goalies, but they're not goalies that you expect to take you to the Stanley Cup.
Sure. I was just talking to somebody who writes for us, Billy. I was talking to him recently because he asked me what I thought were like the biggest heartbreaks ever. And he had mentioned that, and he's a little bit younger than us, so I kind of compared it to the Phillies not this past season, the year before, where like it was, they kind of just weren't really like supposed to be there, and it was just it hurt, but it wasn't like
the magical run.
Yeah, but it did hurt, but it's not. It's not comparable to this year, because this year, they were obviously supposed to be better in it, and it really hurt with the way they lost. But
like the 3-0 comeback to Boston like outweighs the pain
actual
of losing the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
like that was much more fun than anything we experienced really in our lifetime as Flyers fans.
Yeah, that was the first time I got to go to Broad Street, I think.
Was
right?
It after that game?
Oh no, obviously the Phillies, duh.
It
was the first time I got. It's the first time I went to Broad Street for the Flyers. But
right,
we were getting used to that at that time.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, because you had the Phillies in 08, Phillies again in 09. With how far they got. Yeah, hopefully the Flyers can get back there one day. You want to talk Birds now?
Let's do it.
All right. So obviously not the result anybody wanted. They got their asses kicked. To be fair, I think the scoreboard is worse than the game was, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, because I feel like at the end of the game they kind of it was over, and they kind of just ran up the score a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it was late in the game, and early on, the Eagles couldn't get it in the end zone, and overall, I think it was a much closer game than the scoreboard indicates.
Sure, yeah. I mean, to a certain,
not that there's moral victory,
right?
I mean,
right.
At the end of the day, they still got their ass kicked,
right?
And listen, I've seen a lot about it, about the officiating, and I'm not blaming the refs. Anytime you lose 42, what was it, 42 to 17, 60? What was the final score?
I think it was
42-19,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime you lose by that much, it's not the ref's fault, right? The ref isn't the reason why they can't punch it into the end zone in the first two drives, right? Like the refs aren't the reason why they can't, why they couldn't stop the Niners in the second half of the game. Were there missed calls? Sure, there's missed calls in every game. Every game for both sides, there's missed calls. I'm not here to blame the referees for them getting their ass kicked.
I agree with you. I think there were only the amount of times that I've seen Eagles fans say that's not a penalty. I mean, I think there were 3 of them that they actually did miss, and I don't think any of them affected the outcome or would have affected the outcome. I think the Debo, I think it was the touchdown.
There was a hold.
The hold. Yeah. That was a clear hold. The McCaffrey touchdown, there was a clear hold on Morrow, and then the Quez Watkins, I thought was interference. Everything else I thought was pretty fair, pretty spot on.
And then early on, there was like, oh well, they called the offsides late. It's like, well, just because it's late doesn't mean it's not a penalty.
Well, I actually I actually do think they called a couple of them late. I
still
don't
a penalty.
disagree.
Just because you call it late, I mean, it's still a penalty.
Absolutely, but I don't think it's a good look to call it late. I do think that there has to be some kind of I don't even know what the word is, but some kind of quicker way to throw a flag. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
I just don't know why you wait 5 seconds to throw a flag for an offside. Like, that's pretty quick.
Agreed. I agree.
So I mean, there were penalties. There definitely were penalties. It's just
right.
You just wish they were a little bit quicker. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think it's hard. It's just I just seen way too many people blaming the referees for them getting their ass kicked, and they didn't show up. I mean,
they were outcoached.
They were 100%. They were outcoached or outplayed. I mean, the Niners wanted it more, right? Like, this is the Niners Super Bowl. They wanted their revenge from the NFC title game last year. Like, this was an emotional game for the Niners.
Yeah,
which is why I actually thought it was going to work in the Eagles' favor. But
well, yeah, I think it was really important for them to try to score on one of those first 2 drives that they wound up kicking the field goal, because the Niners are that that team that when they go down early, they're losers and they're out of games like that.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of take themselves out of games. So that's why it was really important to score those 2 touchdowns early that they couldn't.
They had a chance to go
the field goals.
Yeah, they had the chance to go 14-0.
Right.
And instead 6-0. Like,
right. That's an issue. I just think that Jalen Hurts is so good that he kind of masks how bad like the offensive coordinator is. especially in the second
probably
halves.
fair.
Especially in the second halves. I just I don't know, man. Like I think you have this type of quarterback that is really good. He's really young. He can use his legs. You can get so creative with this team, but like they do nothing. They don't set anybody in motion. You see, like the Niners. Like I think I heard the other day, it was like 95% of their snaps somebody's in motion, and like the minute you have somebody in motion, you kind of partially the defense shows their cards, and I just like it's very vanilla.
Yeah, and like in years past, you could have said the same thing where like the Niners. Well, look at their personnel, right? But like the Eagles have, talent all over the offense, so that's not really an excuse. Right. Like I mean, wide receiver to wide receiver, I give the Eagles the edge there. I give the only. I mean, yeah, McCaffrey's better than Swift. Like I think that's obvious, but that's really the only plus side that they have against, like the only advantage they have against you.
You can sit here on the Eagles. You can look at the Eagles on the offensive side of the ball. Jalen Hurts, playmaker.
Yep.
Devontae Smith, playmaker. AJ Brown, playmaker. DeAndre Swift, playmaker. Dallas Goedert, when healthy, playmaker.
I was about to say, yeah, they're missing Goddard. So
sure,
having him, would help. But I don't know. I don't think he's make or break. Like it helps to have him. Yeah, but I don't think it's make or break.
I mean, listen, if you would have told us that they go 4-1 in this stretch,
sure, yeah.
I mean, we take that. You know what I mean? Like, I was telling somebody today, I think that this was the perfect loss because of how important it was and to the 49ers and their fan base. Like, if there's anything that's going to wake this team up from playing, because honestly, 10 wins, that's great. But we've seen in these last 7 or 8 games, like, how they've won games, and you can't win every game from behind, especially in the playoffs. Like, you can't go into the playoffs winning every game from behind. So I think it's really good that they got punched in the mouth at home against this specific team, to where maybe this is like a wake-up call. Maybe this is something where, like, they say that can't happen again, especially to that team if we see them again in January.
At what point does, and it's probably way too late in the season for this to happen, but at what point does Nick Sirianni say, all right, I'm going to take over the play calling? Because I feel like that could open things up.
It could. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just feels so vanilla this year. And I feel like we said that a little bit at times in the past.
We did. We said a lot last year, but last year we were winning games,
right,
and winning them
with the the vanilla offense. But like, that was like the biggest knock last year. It was like, they have 10 wins, but
and it was vanilla, but the plays were, it feels like, in better spots. Where like here, if it's second and long and you're running some sort of dunk screen that's going to get you 2 yards, like, I feel like they were just in better spots last year.
Yeah. With that being said, like, it sucks that they lost yesterday, but I'm not worried. Like, this whole city is worried. I mean, like, I get it. I think the San Fran and Dallas games are more important than the Chiefs and Buffalo, obviously.
Yeah.
Because of seeding purposes. If it comes down to the end of the year and it's between them and San Francisco, they have the same record. San Francisco obviously gets the edge. But, like, I don't know. I'm with how easy the end of this year for the Eagles are, the last 3 games, 4 games, whatever it is, or 3 games. I'm as cool as a cucumber. I'm fine. I know this whole city is just very worried right now.
Well, it's overreaction on both sides, right? Anytime they win and anytime they lose, like after each win,
they're the greatest team ever.
Exactly, we're winning the Super Bowl. After the loss, it's like, we're making the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I still think they're gonna have trouble with the pass defense. They're like almost dead last in the league, I think.
Yeah. So let's talk about Shaq Leonard and kind of what you think he can bring. Like, who knows what he has left? I mean, he's not old. He's like 28 years old, but the injury
5-6 years,
yeah. But the injury is there. The injury history, I should say. Yeah, I mean, who knows what he's gonna be, but stepping in right now, I would say he might be your best linebacker. Like, immediately.
Yeah. I mean, for sure.
Did you see? I mean, Morrow got absolutely cooked. on Sunday. Like
he was,
I think he gave up 175 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like he's not supposed to be like prime Ray Lewis either, but
no,
but every now and then he makes a nice play. But yeah, the Shaq Leonard thing, like, I mean, like this could turn out to be a great thing. This could turn out to be a solid thing. Like I think he's fine, and I think all they need is somebody who's fine. I'm excited to see him play. I want to see what he has left in him. Sometimes these guys move from places and they kind of get that resurgence. Like Drew Brees, like when he left San Diego, he went to New Orleans, injury prone. Went to New Orleans, played almost every game in his career for New Orleans. And listen, Shaq Leonard's not a comparable linebacker to what Brees is as a quarterback.
Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right. But I don't know. I just think that there's guys that leave it somewhere that it doesn't work. DeAndre Swift, like it just was not working in Detroit. Never played. Like comes here and he's played every game so far. He's played every snap that he's asked to play. And I just think sometimes a change of scenery, a good culture can really change a guy.
Yeah, especially when like Shaq Leonard's coming from, an Indianapolis Colts team that was, I guess, kind of rebuilding. The front office was a mess. Then you go into you're coming to the Eagles, which by all accounts is a very stable front office, good ownership, a team that's competing for a Super Bowl. I mean, it could really.
The Colts are going to make the playoffs, though.
Are they?
Yeah.
With Gardner Minshew at the helm, huh?
They're 7-5. They're in a playoff spot right now.
So is the callback Gardner Minshew better than Danny Dimes?
No.
To be fair, Danny Dimes hasn't played in 4 or 5 weeks.
Probably even longer than that.
Yeah, maybe even longer, right?
Even if he is, I'm never gonna admit that. But
I didn't realize they've been winning games. Like, what's the deal
7-5.
What's the deal with Richardson? Has he been? Is he?
No, he's been out. Yeah,
he's been out like this whole since
most of the year
4 or something like that. Yeah.
Dude, Pittman, man, Pittman's a real receiver. Yeah, he's gonna have 1,000 yards this year.
He's been great.
Yeah. So but I agree. I mean, they're not as stable as the Eagles. Like I've been reading things all weekend about how he came here and it was just totally different. Like it was just totally. You could tell like he was infatuated with the organization, and I guess you could go somewhere like Dallas. As much as we hate Dallas, like Dallas is kind of a sexy option, right? Like to any player who's looking to compete to try to win some, So I think he came here and did they? I think he came here and even though the Eagles lost, I just think it was more him watching the Eagles because he said he was going to make his decision after the game against San Francisco. But like, I just think it was more like, how does this like organization run? How does this organization? What is their scheme? Like, let me watch a game and figure out if this is something that I can envision myself in the middle of the field. So I just think they're a top organization in sports, one of the top organizations in sports, and kind of signing a guy like him this late in the season when he's going to go to your rival or close to be going to rivals says a lot.
Yep, exactly. But is the defense, because obviously they struggled a lot defensively. Is the defense? Can you blame Howie for it? Right? Like I feel like they've relied too much on younger guys taking big steps, and we haven't really seen it. Right? Like Jordan Davis has been nice, but not like I think they've relied on.
I think he's been really good.
I think he's been really good, and I didn't mean to single him out, but like I'm talking more. I'm talking more so Nakobe Dean, right? They were expecting him to be an everyday. I know injuries kind of hampered that a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's why he dropped to the third round.
Right. Yeah, right. But I know they expect him to be an everyday player this year.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Sidney Brown, they expect that from. Reed Blankenship, who's still fairly young in this league. What's his name? Jalen Carter, who's also been very good, but they've relied on so many young guys defensively,
and their old guys are just too old.
And last year they they got to the quarterback, which helps, but they also forced turnovers. Where we haven't really seen that this year. Like I think they've really missed that out of Gardner Johnson. Because Gardner Johnson was a ball hawk,
but also their pass rush was a lot better last year too.
It's hard to be that good that we're missing him that much. Like
I think he's good. I don't know if he's the only piece that we're like Namakatsu came in last year and was really good. Like he was really solid. And Hassan Reddick was on a different level last year than he is this year.
Yeah, is he?
And Brandon Graham had a career year.
No, I
like,
get that, but why Hassan? Like, why has Hassan Reddick slowed down? You think like
I don't know.
He's not the same player he was last year. It's.
I think it's more the scheme than anything.
Schemes, yeah.
They didn't blitz. I mean, they blitzed a lot last year, a lot compared to the last 10 years. Like they blitzed. If I had to put money on it, I would say last year was probably the most they've blitzed in the last 6, 7, 8 years.
I don't think Desai's afraid to blitz. I've seen him blitz a decent amount.
Hardly blitzes.
I'd have to find.
It's always a 4-man rush.
Okay.
It's always a 4-man
rush.
Which
they're not getting the quarterback with.
Because they don't rotate these guys anymore. Like that's what I was telling somebody today too. I'm very curious in what his ideas are because like does he just not believe in the blitz? Does he not believe in the rotation? Because it just feels like, and they don't have the guys to rotate this year like they did the last since 2017 really. So and these guys are a lot older too. But I don't know.
Or he doesn't trust his linebackers in secondary. Where if the quarterback gets the ball off quick,
it could be all the above
we're
too.
Screwed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right. So I just think your defensive line makes your secondary a lot better. But he just like even in the situations where you have to blitz, he doesn't blitz. Like he sends a 4-man rush every single time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean. It's just, again, they got their ass kicked and there's nothing to it. But I just think, Shaq Leonard coming in day one, I think he's their best linebacker right now. And I'm curious. I'm curious to hear what he does. Yeah, I mean, I imagine he's playing against the Cowboys next week, right?
Right. I'd
Cowboys?
assume so.
Yeah, I would assume so too. But I guess the question is, what can we expect? Because I don't think Byard's been that great. He's had a nice game against the Chiefs, and that was
he had a nice play.
Yeah, fair enough. He had a nice play against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
but it's because I think we expected a little more from him, and he hasn't been great. What do we expect from Shaq Leonard? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the blitz numbers. I think that like I said, he just has to be better than a little bit better than Morrow. Jesus Christ. He's just got to be better than Morrow, better than, kind of what Nakobe Dean was kind of earlier this year, a solid player. And I think they succeed that way. If he's anything better than just fine, we have a diamond in the rough. We have a great, we found gold in garbage kind of thing.
Right. I'm looking here. I have blitzing percentages up, but I can't read this damn thing. All right, so third down blitzing percentage, they are third in the entire league. Fourth down blitzing percentage, but that's probably they're first in the entire league. That's, how many chances you get a fourth down blitzing? But third down blitzing percentage, they're third in the entire league.
Where did you see that at?
I'm on statmuse.com. NFL team blitzing percentage 2023. The Bills are first at 49.7%. The Cowboys are 48.5%. And the Eagles are third, 47.9%.
I'm on that too, but it gives me Chicago as number one.
Dude, Chicago is number one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's just third down, right?
That's just third down, yeah. For some reason, it doesn't have in general. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I'd have to. I'm sure I could find it somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I see is third down. But third down, third in the entire league.
Right.
So.
It just doesn't feel like they blitz that much. I don't know.
No, I feel like I see it a decent amount, but the problem is when they do blitz, you probably don't notice it because they still don't get pressure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Chicago Bears were first last year. I see it now.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at now. So
that says 2023. No, it says 2023. Yeah. NFL team blitzing percentage 2023.
Now. Okay, yeah, I don't know what that number is. Hold on, let me see.
It says season 2023, all of them.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to. Yeah, but I don't know what that's.
Yeah.
Like why it has
what that's filtered.
First.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Because I filtered over to third down percentage, and that's when I got the Eagles third. Like I filtered it to third down percentage, but I don't know what all these other categories mean on here. Like, what's opponent points? Is that just how many points they've given up? That doesn't tell me anything about the blitzing percentage.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? So that's the only things I see is third down and fourth down percentage.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm sure I can find it somewhere on Get It. When I have time to look. So, well, I think I'm gonna start to run the ball more. Like we really didn't see Swift in this game,
especially early on.
Right. Yeah, that's really what I mean.
I think that they could have run on this defense, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're a normal offense either. The Eagles, like a lot of teams, run the ball on first down. They don't, because they can run the ball on third down, on 3rd and 6.
Yep.
Even if they don't get it, they're going for it on 4th down. So I guess that's why they don't run the ball as much early in downs or early in games. But yeah, like I told you, man, I just think this offense is very vanilla, and they just don't do normal things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or they normal. But you'd think they'd run the ball more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so we got Dallas week coming up. Anything else you want to talk about with the game?
No. It's just, on to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Dallas, I mean, this is the biggest game of the season so far. I mean, that goes without saying, right? Like,
yeah,
a chance. I mean, basically, you could. Obviously not seal the division because they'd be, 2 games back or whatever, but
right,
or 2 games up. But like, it puts you in firm control of first place of the division.
Yeah. Division helps with the conference. It's a huge game. Again, I don't think if they lose this game, they're necessarily out of the running for winning, or getting a 1 seed. But it really helps if they win this game, like a lot. You know what? I'm now more ever. I'm more normal. I'm like talking in circles. I am now more than ever convinced that the league there's a script now.
Okay.
Because now that they've switched the game to Monday night for Seattle, the NFL said, all right, the Niners have to win this game because we want the flex Monday night game to mean something. We want the Giants on Christmas to mean something. And then after that, they don't give a shit.
It is a little weird, right? To flex a game to Monday night.
Yeah, and then they come out and lose at home. They lose. They put up 40. They give up 40 at home. It's weird.
The script is weird. The script is real.
Listen, Arian Foster, man, I'm starting to believe.
It's funny. I keep trying to find the blitzing percentages. It's not an easy stat to find.
No, it's not.
Well, I don't think
it's not even like that crazy either.
Right? Yeah. I don't know why. It'd be hard to find, but all right. So you got Dallas. I mean, again, I said it all. It's an important game, but how are we feeling? I mean, you already beat them once here. You're going to their place. It's not going to be easy. I really don't think it will be.
What I think the biggest thing for Sunday's game is going to be and they haven't done all year. We were just talking about it. But I really think what's going to make, and it's so simple, get to the quarterback. Get there. If you can get to the quarterback, they win this game easily. You create turnovers, you get sacks. I'm not looking for a 10-sack game like they had last year. Not looking for that or something close to it. Not looking for a crazy sack. Just get to the quarterback 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Get in his face, create pressure. And Dak he's had a great year so far this year. But he's the type of guy, if you can get in his face, you're going to create turnovers. So I think that's the key to this game is getting in his face and try to create turnovers, score. It's that easy, right?
Yeah. Theoretically. Score more points than your opponent. That helps.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I can't wait for them to make the playoffs and go on a run and get Brian Johnson a job. A head coaching, because there's going to be a lot of head coaching jobs this year, which is a good thing for us.
So we're going to try to do the same thing we did with Gannon. Just get him a
just
job
start tweeting.
else.
Yeah, start tweeting at other teams. Be like, man, I really, the Panthers job, like the Panthers job, like I'm
Patriots job.
Yeah,
Belichick's going there, I imagine.
No way.
Yeah, but Belichick's going.
No.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna say like they fired him. I think it's gonna be a mutual thing. They're just both gonna walk away.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Not yet.
I think after the season, he's gone.
I'm gonna find myself tweeting at the Panthers in February saying, please don't take Brian Johnson from us. He's a great coach. Please, the whole city will never forgive you. Please, 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 and hopefully it'll work. Who did that work for? No, obviously it didn't work. But who was I tweeting? It was the year before Gannon.
Or
a couple of years.
Trying to think who was here before Gannon.
It wasn't. It might have been a defensive. It might have been a defensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator.
Right.
It wasn't Steichen. No, I forget who it was. Maybe it was Gannon the year before. Because wasn't Gannon here for 2 years?
Gannon, yeah, he was here for 2 years. Yep.
I think it was the year before. He didn't get a head coaching job, so I think I was tweeting at teams. So I guess it didn't work. But
so here I'm on Bleacher Report, ranking potential NFL head coaching openings in 2024 offseason after Frank Reich firing. Number 6, the Vegas Raiders. Number 5,
it's possible, yeah.
The New England Patriots.
I don't think it ever happens.
Number 4, Chicago Bears. Number 3, Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Number 2, Washington Commanders.
Okay.
And number 1, the Los Angeles Chargers. How that guy still has a job is beyond me.
Yeah. Well, I think they have their head coach.
The Chargers?
In-house, yeah. Or at least they're going to try it.
Who is it?
Kellen Moore.
Okay.
I mean, he hasn't done much to help Herbert this year anyway, but...
Nah, something... I don't know.
They won 6-0, didn't they?
Yeah. The
Isn't that
Patriots
crazy?
who stink. Patriots
This is a good uniform matchup. I don't know if you saw.
I did not.
The Patriots were their like throwback reds.
Okay.
With like the guy on the helmet.
They were the powder blues?
What's that? No, they were the all white. They were all white.
Okay.
And it was just that was the uniform matchup of the week.
The Chargers powder blue are just terrific.
That's the greatest uniform in history of sports.
I agree. It's one of them for sure.
It's up there.
You want to do against the spread?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Actually, before you do that, let me give the total from last week.
Yeah.
So I went 3-2. You're 3-1 because you have something
waiting for tonight.
Game.
Yeah.
You have
Jags -7.5.
Yeah, Jags -7.5, and then Chris also has the Bengals, or he's got the
overs.
The Bengals Jags over 38.5. Yeah,
that's looking good so far.
What's the score so far?
14-14.
Okay, but that brings our totals to you are in first 30 and 29, looking to stay above 500. I am in second 29 and 31, and Chris is in third 26 and 33.
He's supposed to be like our
football
betting
guy.
Expert. Yeah, our betting football expert.
Our football guy. He's had a rough season.
All right, so I got Bucks. I got Bucks Falcons. Bucks +2.5. You know how much I love division games.
Dude, it's funny you say that. I was looking. This week's full of division games.
Yeah,
all 3 of my games are division games I picked. All of them.
I was gonna go 3, but I only went 2.
Okay.
So Bucks Falcons. Bucks +2.5. I got the Texans Jets. The Texans -6.5. See, that's my problem. Is I always take the Texans. They always win. They wind up winning, but just they don't cover.
Yeah.
And then I got the Lions. Yeah.
CJ Stroud looks legit.
He does. He looks really good. I got Lions Bears. Lions -3.
This line's confusing to me. I guess because they're on the road in division game, but a 3.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's probably gonna move.
The Lions are a far better team than the Bears. Can't convince me otherwise.
The problem with the Lions is they go up big early, and then they tend to almost blow it.
Yeah, but
they almost did that to the Bears.
Yeah, but they're really good at beating shitty teams, and the Bears are a shitty team.
They almost lost to them the other day, a couple weeks ago.
I guess.
They went up big, I'm sorry, they were down, actually, and they came back.
Yeah, I mean, we say it all the time. The division games are just weird and different.
Yeah, right. So the line's -3. That's probably going to move. Then I got the over-unders. I got Vikings-Raiders over 40.5.
Okay.
And then the Rams-Ravens over 42.5.
Rams-Ravens, you said?
Yep.
That was over 42.5.
Yep.
All right, so I also have the Lions -3 against the Bears. I have the Broncos and the Chargers. I got the Broncos +2.5. Broncos
okay.
Playing all right. The Chargers stink right now.
Yeah, they're going to get in the playoffs too.
Yeah. After we all made fun of the Broncos and Russell Wilson.
And then they turned it around as soon as we made fun of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they won like 6 straight or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have another division game, Panthers, Saints. I got the Saints -5.5.
Okay.
I have the Chiefs and the Bills over 47.5. It just seems like a shootout kind of game. I know I know both those offenses don't look like they have in the past, but
yeah,
it's still a game that could be a shootout, I think. And then I got the Packers and the Giants over 37.5.
Okay.
Did you see the over under of the Patriots Steelers game?
It's like 30.5, right?
30.
Yeah.
I was tempted to take it just because it's so low.
But like they just lost 6-0, so
right.
It's probably not likely.
Right, exactly. And the Steelers, like I don't even know who's quarterbacking for them. Pickett's isn't he? Is it Trubisky still?
Or no, I think Trubisky left. No, I think Trubisky left, didn't he?
Nah, he was playing on Sunday.
Let's see. Let's see who the Steelers quarterback is.
He was playing at one point. I don't know if he's finished the game, but he was playing for the Steelers. Yeah, Trubisky, and then Mason Rudolph is our third string quarterback.
Yikes!
So yeah, is he the guy? Is he the guy that got beat in the head with the
helmet?
With, Myles Garrett helmet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
I had a lot of fun watching him and James Washington. He's a receiver. I know he was on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh drafted both of them. A lot of fun at Oklahoma State. I was like one of my teams, like not one of my teams, but that specific year.
Yeah.
A lot of times I pick teams to watch. I try to watch certain teams every year. Like I'll pick like 2 or 3 teams where I try to catch most of their games. And that year, I guess it was like 2019 maybe. Mason Rudolph and James Washington I thought they were going to be superstars.
It's actually a good transition because like we don't usually talk college sports on here, but like, do you have any sort of opinion or take about the football playoff? Because there's a lot of takes out there about how Florida State should have been in.
So it's not that I was telling somebody today. I think that they got it right. It's not that I think they got it right. I think I worded it wrong. I think it's more. I'd rather see Alabama in the playoffs and I think most people would rather see Alabama in the playoffs than FSU. So
yeah, but is that a good reason to keep FSU out?
Well, listen. So 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, their quarterback, who was up for Heisman almost,
got hurt.
Right? Breaks his leg.
Yeah,
breaks his leg. I just think it's a way better product, and that's the way that college football is run. Whether you want to argue whether that's right or wrong, that's a totally different argument.
And that's what I would argue is
right.
Even if he went down, they still found ways to win games. Like how do you punish a team just because their quarterback?
Well, I'm not saying that's why they punish them. I'm just saying I think it's a better product to have Alabama out there.
And that's why
college
they did
football.
It.
Well, yeah, I mean they're never not going to have an SEC team in the playoffs.
Sure.
Like that was never going to happen. What I'm saying is, if you want to argue that it sucks that that's the way this is, that's why they're going to 12 teams. Like that's part of the reason, and it's more money.
Yeah, and last year 2 years ago, whenever they announced the 12 teams or whatever, I said. First of all, I still think 12 is a little too much, but I was against it. I thought 4 was fine, maybe 6. After this year and seeing FSU get screwed like that, I'm all aboard.
But
because like, if Alabama truly deserved it over FSU, fine. I don't like giving it to Alabama just because they're Alabama and it's quote unquote a better product.
But they didn't the Alabama played better the last 4 or 5 weeks, and that's the way college football is run. If you want to argue that it
should be the collection of the season, yeah, it should be this whole season.
Listen, if you want to argue, I know, but I'm trying to get my point out there. If you want to argue whether that sucks or not, that's a totally different argument.
That's what I'm arguing.
Okay, let me finish my sentence first.
Go ahead.
This is going to be the 4th time I'm trying to say this sentence before you try to cut me off again.
I'm probably going to cut you off again. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, if you want to argue that sucks, okay, that's perfectly fine. I understand. I don't disagree with that, but that's the way that it is. It's college football is not like the NFL, where the NFL is if you have the best record, you get in. It has always been, especially in the last 10 to 15 years, is if is it going to make us money? Number one. Number two, who has been the better team? Alabama has beaten better competition than Florida State has. That plays a factor in why Alabama got in and FSU didn't. I agree. It sucks that it's not by record. They should have gotten in if that's but that's not the way they do things. You could argue that it sucks that they do it that way, but it is what it is. They put in teams based on Alabama beat Auburn, they beat Tennessee, like they beat the good SEC teams that could play in the NFL. Florida State played ACC teams. Yeah, they beat LSU, but LSU sucked this year. LSU, they called up LSU earlier this year and said, "Hey, do you want to be on our schedule?" And LSU said, "Yeah, sure." I give them credit.
Yeah. They beat those teams they were supposed to beat. If they have their regular quarterback and they still beat those teams, like the results didn't change, and they'd be in. They got punished because their quarterback hurt, and they're predicting, what the better matchup would be. And I think that's wrong. I think if a team deserves to get in, it deserves to get in.
Yeah, that's totally fair to think that's wrong, but it is the way it is. Sure. It is what it is. Like, and I think you're gonna sit here and tell me you'd rather watch FSU play with a backup quarterback than Alabama?
No, that's all I'm saying.
I mean,
I would rather watch Alabama.
So then why are you upset that FSU's not in then?
Because I think they deserve it.
But why do they deserve it more than Alabama? Alabama beat better teams to get there in a better conference. Who the hell has FSU beat?
Sure, no, I get you. I don't have their schedule up right now, or else I start naming. There's probably nobody to answer your question. And listen, I don't watch college football enough to really.
I understand.
I just look at the overall landscape, and it just seems like they got in because they're Alabama.
That is part of it, sure. That's definitely a component, but they also got in because they're an SEC team who beats, the best competition in the world at that level.
Sure.
And they came back and won against Auburn, and then they won the SEC championship against Georgia. Like, they beat another top 6 school. Like, that's why they got in.
They beat LSU, Southern Miss, Boston College, Clemson.
This is FSU?
Yeah.
FSU.
Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Duke, Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, Miami of Florida, North Alabama, Florida, and Louisville's a pretty good matchup, I think. They just beat them 16-6. Louisville's not bad.
Louisville's not that good. They're ranked. They're a bit overrated.
Okay.
They're a bit overrated. But that's if Alabama beat Georgia like in the championship this past week, like that's why they got in. They beat another top 6 school.
Sure, but at the same time, like, listen, if I'm being honest here, we're on the trust circle. Mm-hmm. Alabama and Nick Saban are starting to get on my nerves.
It's actually had the opposite effect on me.
Really? I'm just tired of them getting shoved down our throat.
If you're good, you're good.
All right, fair enough.
like Alabama beat. We're not even going to say Middle Tennessee because that's not fair. But they beat Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Tennessee. LSU doesn't count because they sucked this year. Auburn, Georgia,
they're ranked 13th.
LSU was 9-3 this year. That's
Okay,
not good.
Yeah. No, it's not good. But I mean, two of their losses came against Alabama and Florida State, who are ranked
Right.
4 and 5 or 3 and 4
Sure.
or whatever it is. So I mean, I think the quality of loss matters. Like those are the two best teams. Two of the 4 or 5 best teams in the country.
Yeah, I
They
think
lost
they
to.
stink, but that's just
maybe.
my opinion. Yeah, I just think Alabama is just beating better. Beating Georgia, a top 6 team, is what got them in.
I was about to ask that if they lose that game to Georgia,
Yeah, there's no way.
Do you
there's
think?
No way.
Well, I know that there's no way they get in, but is it Georgia in the 4th spot, or do you think it's FSU? Okay.
No, I think it's FSU because I think FSU might be a better product than Georgia.
Okay.
Personally.
All right, fair enough. I was curious.
I mean, maybe not. Georgia's.
Well, people would have looked at that
Number
the same way that
but-
people are looking at the Alabama win. That Georgia, they'd be saying, well, Georgia beat Alabama, like they have to get in. So
Yeah. Then maybe they do get in.
yeah,
Maybe. I mean, I think Texas and Michigan were definitely in.
yeah.
I think
Michigan's one, right? Or
Michigan's
no?
one. Washington is 2. I think those 2 teams were definitely going to get in. But in my opinion, I thought Michigan and Texas would have been no-brainers for me.
Yeah.
But that's why they're going to 12, because you could sit here and say about 7-8 teams that deserve to get in the top 4.
That's personally why I think 12 is a little too much. I think 8's the perfect sweet spot. But if there were 8, I'm sure the 9th and 10th team we could talk about,
right?
How they should have been in or not. Right. So I mean,
and we're going to talk about how the 14th and 13th team should have gotten in too.
Yep, totally.
Listen, I don't disagree that it sucks that like there's a committee and they said, but it's not just like, oh, it's Alabama, like we have to get them in. Yes, there is a component where they were never going to let. Yeah. There's a component that they're never going to sit here. Well, no, I don't think it's an Alabama thing. I think it's an SEC thing. I think they sat here and said, there's no way we're going to not let an SEC team in. Like it's some of the best football that has been played in the last 15 years. Like even with the NFL, like.
Yeah, but if you have to force the SEC teams to get into the top 4, is it the same powerhouse it once was? I mean, it is obviously.
Yeah, I mean, this year was a bit of a down year, but I mean, look at the last 5 years, even alone. Georgia was incredible. Alabama was incredible.
LSU, the year Joe Burrow was incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think there was a component of the SEC thing. Whether if Georgia won that game, they're probably in. But I also just think it's weighed heavily on who did you beat, when did you beat them, how did you beat them, how did you get here? Like that's I think is a big component.
Yeah.
FSU just didn't play the teams that Alabama did.
Yeah, but you want to play who's on your schedule, right? We talk about it all the time.
Sure, but they play the same teams every year on their schedule.
Yeah,
it's not like it's
sure.
college football. They play the same.
They
10
schedule their
schools
own
every year.
games. And they schedule their own games too.
Well, the first 3-4 games, yeah, but after that, it's
schedule tougher games for those first 2 or 3.
Move out of the
games.
conference. Go to the SEC.
Yeah.
Florida, SEC would take Florida State in a heartbeat.
Oh, sure.
So
they should if they want to be,
right
among the.
That's why Texas and Oklahoma are going.
Yeah. Texas, I think, can compete now. I think Oklahoma can in the SEC. Probably. I mean, they're a good program usually.
Well, I think it definitely helps when and that's why they're doing. A part of the reason why they're doing it, it really helps
Recruiting.
to say, we're Oklahoma, we're SEC. Like,
yeah,
it really helps. But listen, man, I'm gonna be a big Texas fan next year, so you better watch out.
Why is that?
Because we got an Arch Manning.
Okay. Yeah,
He's gonna be making his debut.
Yeah.
So
he
played this week, but
I was gonna say he's a freshman this year, right?
He redshirted most of the year, and
he
he played like the second half because they were up big.
Okay.
They were up. I think they won by like 50.
I don't know how the rules work. Doesn't that like get rid of your redshirt eligibility, or does it not?
Well, yeah, because they took him. They basically took. I guess they took off his red shirt, and I don't know. I don't know how it works. Honestly,
I don't know how. That
Not
works.
sure.
But yeah, I mean,
maybe it's a certain amount of games. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. I'm curious to see what Texas does. I mean, we're going back years, but they were like the dominant like powerhouse of the country.
Them and
like
USC.
The Vince Young era.
Yep.
Really, I mean, they were great. So
yeah, I'm gonna be getting a couple Texas Longhorn hats, couple T-shirts. Yeah,
dude,
I'm gonna get a 16 jersey.
The white Texas jersey is clean.
It's clean. Yeah, I'm gonna be a Longhorn next year, so better watch out. Better be prepared these next 2-3 years.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure a lot of Texas Longhorn fans are Dallas Cowboys fans. I don't know if we can have this.
Well, I don't mind the Rangers. I don't really care for the Mavericks too much. Yeah, right. The Mavericks don't bother me.
Yep.
It's just the Cowboys. The Stars, I don't care about the Stars.
Did you see this came out? Did you see Mark Cuban sold this stake in the Mavs?
Yeah. Did you read it? Did you read about it? Like what what he gave up. So he gave up
all of his share, I thought, wasn't it?
Yeah. Most of it, I believe.
Okay.
Most of the majority stake.
Okay.
He's still running the team though. He's still operating the team. It's just dude, like all the conspiracies out there, like, oh, they found the manifest, like he's on Epstein's island, like he's got to give up everything now. And another one was like, he's like, or he's running for president, like it's one of the it had to be one of those two things. It was just no, he just found a way to make more money. Like,
well, he also dropped out of Shark Tank, I think.
Yeah.
He's not on there anymore.
Yeah. I just think
he bought some small little town in Texas. He just bought a whole town.
Well, that's part of the him selling the team. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 years he buys them back and he just triples his money. Not triples, but makes more money. Yeah, it's wild.
Before we get out of here, one little bit of Phillies news came out today. Rob Thompson extended through 2025. I'm fine with this. I don't think this means anything.
I'm surprised.
You're surprised what? That they did it, or that I feel that way?
That you feel that way.
I don't think it means anything. I think in sports in general, teams don't like going into a year with a lame duck head coach.
Yeah,
and I think he had 1 year left. If it doesn't work out this year, you could easily fire him and pay him whatever.
And I don't think they'll ever quote unquote fire him. I think it'll be like they mutually part ways, or he retires, or. And I think it's important for them to, or they think it's important to kind of have that stability. It's just going to be like a 1 year deal as they go on. It's not going to be like a 4 year deal for Rob Thompson. Well, before he's at the end of this.
Before he got the job, he was thinking about retiring.
Right.
So I mean, it's
and then when he got the job, he was going to retire at the end of that year, next year or two.
Yeah.
Well, is it 2 years ago now?
After he got the interim job.
Yeah.
And then led them to the World Series, and I guess he figured, why not?
Yeah,
but
that's why I think even on his end, I think it's a good 1. Let's just keep with that 1 year deal, because the year that I want to be done, I'll make it that year.
And and again, they teams and players or teams and coaches don't like to go into that final year as a lame duck.
Yeah.
So at the end of the season, if he still has 1 year left, he either wants to leave or they want him to leave. They could easily get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really quick. I've been reading all over. Apparently, a lot of experts believe Ohtani is going to sign this week.
Really? What,
yeah, because
did they say any teams or?
I've seen a couple rumors.
Okay.
The reason is because he's going to command so much money that a lot of teams are just like, we want to get this over with so that we can start building our teams.
You can plan. Yeah. But you don't think the arm thing, the fact that he can't pitch, hurts him at all?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Because he's not going to pitch this year, but he's going to hit. He's going to be a DH this year.
Yeah.
I guess it's up to him.
40 home runs or 100 RBIs, easy.
I think it's going to be up to him. Does he want to continue to pitch? If he wants to continue to pitch, I think there aren't going to be many teams that aren't going to be like, here's a blank check.
Right.
You know? If he sits there and says, I don't know if I really want to pitch. If I was him, I would probably be like, I'll pitch for 2 years and then kind of just move to that DH thing.
Yeah, but the reason he's so valuable is because he does it on both sides.
Sure. But your best ability is your availability.
Sure, but I'm not gonna.
You can't do both forever.
I'm not gonna say it's easy to find Ohtani's bat because it's not.
I think it's easier to find his arm, honestly.
Maybe.
Listen,
but where he's so valuable is that he's one roster spot
Sure.
and he does it both.
Sure, absolutely. But he's also got to think about himself. I don't know if I'm not confident he can do both forever. I'm just not.
Or
I mean,
even
it's a second Tommy John surgery.
Well, sure, but we saw. I mean, Verlander won a Cy Young after his second, I think, right?
Yeah, but he didn't bat.
True. Or maybe in a couple years, they still want to have value out of his arm. Throw him in bullpen roles here or there.
Sure.
Instead,
I just think his best ability, your best ability is your availability, and if he continues to do both, he's just not going to last.
Yeah, but if he wants to pitch and hit, you're paying him easy $40 to $45 million a year. If you're just having his bat, what, $25 million a year, $30 million a year?
No, he'll get more than that. He'll probably get 30 to 35.
So?
Yeah.
All right. That's still 10
But here's the
million a
thing.
year less. 10
But
to
here's the
15
thing
million
though.
less.
He's a top 10, closer to 10 than he's the one pitcher. Would you agree with that?
Top 10, closer to 10 than 1. Yeah, that's probably fair. I mean, I'd probably put him somewhere 5, 6, 7, 8, which again is closer to 10 than it is 1. Sure. Yeah.
And he's also probably, I was looking at this the other day.
You could argue he's a top 5 hitter.
I over his, this past year probably, but over his career, like I don't know that. I don't. And I understand having both of those things, being really good at both, makes you more valuable.
Yeah.
But like I just think if he sits there and says like, I really think he's got to pick one, and I think it's a hitting because he can play every day.
It just doesn't make him as valuable though, and like
it doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. But like just being DH also doesn't really have, like, you're not playing the field at all. You're literally just hitting.
Yeah, but now that it's in both leagues, it's a position. Like it's I just think for his own sake, he'll still get $500 million to be a hitter.
You think he'll get $500 million for just being a hitter?
Close to it, yeah. Trout got $450.
Yeah,
and that was in 2019.
Right. How old is Ohtani? He's what, 29,
30? Yeah, I think he'll be 30.
How old was Trout when he signed that deal? Probably about 30.
20.
Yeah.
No, he's a little bit young. Yeah, it was I think he was the same age as Harper, 27.
20. Okay.
26, 27.
That matters though.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
but I mean, I think Ohtani will pitch another 2-3 years. I think that's
after the surgery.
But
he's not pitching.
Right.
Correct.
In
2024.
Correct. I just think that's a smart thing for him to do is say, maybe you the first half of the contract is where I get most of my money when I pitch, and then I'm going to be done in 2-3 years, 4 years, whatever it is.
Yeah,
and then I'll make less
structure
money
like that. Yeah, I could definitely see a structure like that.
But I just think that's best for him to be able to play until he's close to 40. Yeah, and I get it. Verlander, Tommy John came back and won.
Verlander's a freak though, like
sure, but he doesn't do both like Ohtani does. That's a lot of wear and tear.
Sure, yeah.
He's just got to hold it. His body's got to hold up. So,
yeah.
I read that there was the Cubs, the Blue Jays, the Giants, the Dodgers, the Angels. They have the highest offer.
They're gonna have to have the highest offer for multiple reasons.
What do you mean? Why? What do you
mean? One, the Canadian dollar and taxes, he'd lose out on money, so like they'd have to pay him more just to kind of balance that out. Number two, I doubt he'd want a third citizenship. Like he's already Japan, U.S. Like I doubt he'd want a third.
Yeah, that's so easy for them to get.
Yeah, no, I get it, but like it's just another thing for him to think about. Like I don't know, does he want to go to a third country? Like I don't know. I don't think the Dodgers let him out of their sight. Yeah.
I think he's a Dodger, and I think it's, Do you see, speaking of the Dodgers, do you see Mookie Betts is apparently going to move to second base? Yeah. Yep. Is your fantasy team happy?
Yeah. I like it, dude. Because the reason, outfielders are so much easier to find in fantasy baseball, and, second basemen are really tough to find.
Yeah.
There's, 2, 3, 4 great second basemen in the league.
Yeah.
So, I'm cool with it. My fantasy
I'll give you my next 4 first-round picks and more.
I know you do like Mookie Betts.
I
love yourself some Mookie Betts.
Love me some Mookie.
He's been great. He's easy Hall of Famer. Like he's great.
He's up there.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, these next few weeks we'll get to talk about some free agents.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. He was kind of. I mean, he played everywhere last year. He was in the outfield. He played all over. Shortstop.
Yeah.
Played second base. So curious to see him at second.
I think he had a kid too in the middle of the season.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he was on paternity leave for 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if the Phillies do anything. It sounds like they're pretty much done. Like I don't
done.
Like it sounds like they're not going to make any big moves. Like I mean, maybe
see, I don't think.
But who knows?
Yeah, I actually think that they. I actually think they do go for another big name.
You think so?
I mean, yeah, I think they're in on Yamamoto. I don't know if they get him, or Yamamoto, whatever his name is. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in Snell. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a trade. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
Hater, I wouldn't be surprised. Just trying to make this team a lot better. So, I don't think it's going to be like Ohtani or who else is a big.
If you're Dombrowski, you have one move to do whatever the hell you want. What's the move you're making?
If I'm Dombrowski,
yep.
I go all in on Yamamoto. Yeah.
Dude seems legit. I mean, you never know how it translates from there to here, but
it's the second best league in the world.
Sure.
A sub-2 career ERA. He's 24 years old. Like,
is he that?
He
young?
may come
I
here and
he's
suck.
26.
Yeah. No, he's 24. So.
Speaking of another guy that pitched over in Japan, would you entertain Trevor Bauer?
I don't know enough about the legal situation right now.
It sounds like it's done, although I'm not entirely
sure.
But
then there's another person that's coming out anonymously. So okay. I don't know. I don't know enough about the legal situation to be like yes or no.
Yeah.
So
I pitched pretty well over there.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher.
Yeah.
I would actually.
It was nuts.
If they don't get Yamamoto, I would actually be very much in. And I know he'd have a very good year. Dylan Cease, I would consider that too. But it just doesn't seem like the Phillies are one of the teams that are kind of going after him.
I'm curious what Cease gets because 2 years ago he was
he's unbelievable.
Finalist.
Yeah, he was really good,
and he's still fairly young. And the last year he was brutal. But I mean, their team kind of was.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I
don't know. I also had him on my fantasy team, and he was great 2 years ago. He's shitty last year.
Right.
So, I'm curious.
But again, just like we were talking about football, it's like sometimes you just kind of get a new scenery and things change.
Sure.
So
yeah, I would be open to that.
Yeah, I just don't think it doesn't sound like the Phillies are one of the teams that are kind of interested. I could be totally wrong, but
I think they're trying to limit their question marks, I guess. They're willing to take the question marks for a guy like Yamamoto because the ceiling is so high.
And you don't have to give up anything for him except money.
Right, that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a free agent? You got to trade?
No, you have to trade for him, yeah. He's probably
He only has a year or two left, I think, doesn't he?
I'm not sure. I just read that he's very much... They're probably going to move on from him because they're gonna rebuild. Tim Anderson's going to probably... Did Tim Anderson sign anywhere yet?
Not that I've seen.
I read a lot of things he's probably going to go to the Angels. That team is just going to yeah. It's a shame because I think he's a really good player.
He's a very good player.
So yeah, I just read the Braves are kind of considering it because Fried's a free agent after this year coming up. I think the Dodgers were in on Cease.
Houston,
all the teams that are not the Phillies.
Right. Well, the Houston would make a load of sense for Cease.
Yeah.
Anytime they get not a reclamation, but the time they get somebody who's down in their careers.
Yeah.
You look at Greinke was having
Charlie Morton.
Yeah. Greinke, Morton, Verlander. People called Verlander Cook when they traded for him. And then he won a Cy Young.
They traded for him twice.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
When he was Cook both times.
Right. Right. So they just, for some reason, they just find ways to get more out of their pitchers or revive their careers. So I can see Houston. But hopefully we talk a little more baseball in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Are you ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
All right, we're getting out of here. Like us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Phired Up Sports. Check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. We will see. We have a special guest next week. I'm excited for that. So we'll tease that now, and later on in the week we'll post something. So I'm excited for it. We'll see everybody next week. See you then.